Yo, what's good? Welcome to the Jets Wire podcast today. I am joined by three special guests: Jets Take Flight, Charlie Morrow, and Jets Rebellion.
Uh-huh.
So,
So,
Charlie,
yo,
what will we be
Guys,
starting with today?
we're starting with our thoughts on Robert Saleh as a head coaching hire. Wire, you will go first.
I really am a big fan of this hire here because Salah's obviously the guy that could bring a lot of energy to an organization. You see what he did with the San Francisco 49ers these last 4 years. He's been able to just help the 49ers defense just get better and better. He brought him to a Super Bowl last year. He helped that defense was ranked second in the league that year. And this year, despite all their injuries, they were able to have the fifth best defense in the NFL. So I am really happy about this hire, and I'm looking forward going into next year. So, take a fight. What do you think?
hey, it's just what we needed recovering from the Adam Gase era, man. You get a defensive guy opposite from an offensive guy. We basically got the polar opposite of Adam Gase. Saleh can turn this locker room around. He's going to develop a bunch of players. He can oversee the whole field, really. And yeah, just great setup for the future.
Rebellion, what do you think?
Nah, I couldn't agree more. And basically we got to energize the bunny, man. Like, somebody that's gonna literally energize the whole team now. We got a whole young group, and I think that him being close of age with all the with all the players, I think it would motivate everybody a little bit more, and especially somebody that's willing to talk to everybody, as a team and not just like individually, like how Gase is doing it. So, I think this is a beautiful hire for us, and I think more to come. They ain't done.
I agree with you guys. I think this was a great hire. He's a culture changer, a leader of men, defensive mind. I think he'll have zero patience for the players we saw under Bowles and Gase that simply didn't seem to care. Guys like Ja'Kai Polite, Mo Wilkerson, Geno Smith. I don't think he's going to have any tolerance for that. I also like how he's bringing back the 4-3 defense. We'll finally have a pass rush for the first time since we had John Abraham. He's a breath of fresh air against Gase because there are many clips of him. You can tell he's clearly into the game, while Gase didn't seem to give it the time of day. Often in press conferences, he was asked about certain plays, and he'd say he wasn't watching, while Saleh is locked in on the games at all time, and seems to give 100% of his attention towards the task at hand.
Yeah.
All right. And so starting with Wire again, what do you think about the possibility of us bringing Mike Lafleur as our offensive coordinator?
I really like it. Obviously, I don't know if he's younger or older. He's obviously either the younger or older brother of Packers head coach, Matt Lafleur. I would really like him as our offensive coordinator because he's obviously done special stuff for the 49ers lately. And it's nice to have a 33-year-old, either 33 or 34-year-old offensive coordinator because it's nice to have a nice young staff. So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the hire, man. I think he called plays for a college team. I think it was either D2 or D3. He experienced some success there. Came to the 49ers, was the passing game coordinator. If you don't know who Mike Lafleur is, he's one of the right-hand men to Kyle Shanahan, who is obviously one of the best offensive minds in the league. And when you bring in a guy like Robert Saleh, that's going to change the culture and really bring this defense back to what it was in the Darrelle Revis and John Abraham days. What you need is a guy that can control the offense, and I think Mike McDaniels is perfect for that aspect.
Rebellion?
I feel, I think Lafleur is actually going to flourish with us. Just due to the fact that, his brother look what he did with Aaron Rodgers this year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about any other Jet fan, but just seeing that resume and just seeing like what a family member can also do, like, just like how the hardballs, you know what I mean? You never know if it's something like, intangibles with that, it could transfer over, I don't know. I personally, I'm licking my chops at it. You know what I'm saying? You look at what Green Bay is doing right now with Aaron Rodgers, and it just excites me. You never know what play calls he can stir up and everything like that. And especially with that offense, there's a lot of things that can do wonders too.
I'm kind of lukewarm on this one. I'd like to see him have more of a track record of just himself. But what I can say that I love about Mike Lafleur is that I think he knows the West Coast system, which is what Saleh wants to implement. I mean, almost better than any other candidate out there, given the fact he's been with Kyle Shanahan ever since they had the Super Bowl run with the Falcons with Matt Ryan, and then all through his time in San Francisco. He's been the right-hand man of Kyle Shanahan. And also, like you guys said, I mean, Matt Lafleur is his brother, so there's obviously a lot of interaction that happens between them in terms of changing schemes and stuff like that. So our third topic, Wire, you'll start with this one, is who your favorite candidate for our defensive coordinator would be.
That's a good question there, Charlie. In my opinion, I really think we should bring in a guy like Aaron Glenn in here because obviously the Saints defense was spectacular this year. They were a top 5 defense, and I think Aaron Glenn would be the right guy for this job because with how he handles the Saints secondary, I've seen special stuff out of that secondary. You have guys like Marshawn Lattimore and many other players out there, and I would love a guy like Aaron Glenn. And I really think he would fit the system with Saleh and Lafleur. So yeah. That's really it. How about you, Take Flight?
I do like Aaron Glenn, but a guy that I really look at is Chris Richard. Last time he had a job, I believe he was the defensive backs coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He was coach when Byron Jones was on the team, and a bunch of these young players were playing up to their potential. I remember they had a young safety back there who now he signed with the Raiders, hasn't done anything since. But the years that Chris Richard was coaching him, he had all the best years in his career. He's worked with Seattle. He's had interviews with Seattle, I think, recently, unless that's just me. But yeah, I've been high on this guy for a couple years. I'd love to bring in Chris Richard, and I think he has experience with Robert Saleh. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
if he was a Seattle guy, then he probably does.
Yeah.
Rebellion?
Nah, like I agree with Take Flight. I personally would like Chris Richard. He's done work with that whole, he has a familiarity with that whole Seahawks. Get out of there. He has that familiarity with the whole Seahawks, like, cultural thing. So I think he's on board with what we want to do and change. He's young. He can also, add on to that young coaching staff that we're trying to bring on. And I don't know. I feel honestly that we can. I don't know. I think Richard could be good. Aaron Glenn also. That would be fucking amazing if we can get him. But I want D'Amico Ryans. If we can get D'Amico Ryans away from 49ers some way somehow, that would be awesome. But I doubt it. So like I said, I think Chris Richard would be perfect to something that we would want to do, especially a 4-3. Yeah.
I'm with Wire on this one. I'm all in on Aaron Glenn. The thing that seems to intrigue me is how well he worked with young corners and putting them on a fast track to success in terms of their development. I think if you can pair him with a guy like Saleh, who does really well developing young defensive line players, we can turn all those young players we have in the secondary, or just on defense in general, and all the draft picks we have that we're going to allocate towards defense, we can really hit on those guys and give us a high chance to be an elite defense in the league with those resources.
You look at Aaron Glenn. I think I told you this earlier on today, but he could, if he was offered a contract by the Eagles, I think he would take that or the head coach, because he's had a couple of head coaching interviews, I think, including with the Jets.
There's that, and also the aspect of Glenn that makes it unrealistic is he's also interviewed for the Jets head coaching job. So I find it unrealistic that he'd want to take the defensive coordinator job after being shot down as the head coach.
And one more thing I want to add before we move on. Another guy we didn't mention is Marvin Lewis. Now, he could come in. I don't know how likely it is, but he could come in with this young coaching staff. Just in case Saleh needs a little more help, I don't think he will at all. This was more if we brought in a guy like Brian Dable or Arthur Smith. you bring in Marvin Lewis, and he could also help contribute to that locker room.
I think Lewis is going to wait for another head coach job for somebody to want him. I don't think he's going to take a coordinator.
Me personally, I don't think Marvin Lewis is going to get another opportunity, but he might. I'm not saying that he's not a good coach, but I think his time passed. But he should have gotten that job with Detroit before that Matt Patricia thing. That was my opinion. That was my prediction back then. And then they went Matt Patricia, and now they're getting this dude Campbell or whatever the hell his name is from the Texans.
Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
But regardless, I think
the way Marvin Lewis was able to work with nothing in terms of the cap amount in Cincinnati that the owners would give him and turn it into a consistent contender year after year. Obviously, they never won a playoff game. That's not ideal, but I don't think it was ever a drastic underperformance. They never won one, considering nobody ever considered the Bengals to be a top-tier Super Bowl contender. So that's why I think that his time in Cincinnati is worthy of him getting another head coaching job. With number 4, we're talking about the Darnold rumors that came out today that I believe Shefty was talking about. Wire, you're starting us off.
You really can't let those rumors bother you, because I'm gonna give you guys an example here. It was about 2 years ago. Cliff Kingsbury was introduced by the Arizona Cardinals. He, in the middle of his press conference, I guess he got asked about Josh Rosen. Is he the guy? Cliff Kingsbury went out there and said, he's the guy.
He's our guy.
And that year, they had the first overall pick. They were the
He
worst.
he said, quote, that he's our guy. He did say
Josh
that.
is our guy,
and that
man.
year, the Arizona Cardinals went 3-13, had the first overall pick. They were sitting there with Kyler Murray. They went out there and selected Kyler Murray. So that's an example why you don't listen to those kind of people. And again, Adam Schefter, you can't believe him because he's not a part of the organization. He doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes right now. So
and especially now that with Joe Douglas there officially now with Adam Gase's people gone.
And I think Joe Douglas is
not going to leak anything.
Again, with Darnold, I think he has a chance to be good. I just don't think it's the right move to keep him here in New York. I think it's time to move on and go draft a Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. So you just can't let any of those rumors bother you, in my opinion. So yeah, it's me.
Yeah, and another example is, look, even if Joe Douglas, first of all, I don't believe these rumors at all. Adam Schefter apparently saying, I would think, is a source. I don't know. He's predicting something. It's not official. It's not going to happen. And Robert Saleh just got hired. There's no way that he's already studied all the film of Sam Darnold the last 3 years.
Yeah, and he's gonna.
Another thing.
He has to watch the film of Justin Fields and Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
I'll be more impressed because I think he'll want his own team in here, in my opinion. He'll want his new players.
You look, even if Robert Saleh or Joe Douglas were to come out and say Sam Darnold's our guy, he's our franchise quarterback, which I would expect that they would, even if they didn't think that he would be, to sort of up the price and give
But
him
with a
more
new coaching
confidence.
staff, I don't see us trading out of that second overall pick.
Yeah, we're not trading out of the second overall pick, but I can see Joe Douglas, a smart organizational thing to do is come out and say Sam is our guy. You boost his trade value and you give him more confidence. You don't trash the dude to the media. You got to remember, Jamal Adams is a Jet for life. Josh Rosen's our guy.
But one thing I'm gonna add. But one thing I think you guys should remember and understand: we're technically still in season right now. So I believe once the Super Bowl ends and once free agency hits, then I think Joe Douglas is gonna change his little aspect about that and then start, good mouthing Sam Darnold and stuff like that. My personal opinion, because too close to the draft, you're gonna throw off all these quarterbacks that when you go for interviews and you interview these dudes, they're not gonna have that much confidence to even try to go into your organization. Because if you're turning around and you're sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna go in with Sam," how a kid like Justin Fields is gonna try to or Zach Wilson gonna try to try to even defend himself or interview for himself if you're already committed to this dude. In my opinion, a thing came up. What JD signed a 6-year deal last year. Now he's 5 years left in his contract. Saleh signed a 5-year contract. This is a whole cultural change. This is
And that quarterback got that 5th-year option if you take him in the first.
$25 million is too much money to pay somebody for regressing years. I'm sorry. If you had a year like Josh Allen, maybe. If you had a year like Baker Mayfield, maybe.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything. Dak Prescott that made 4 game appearances, got hurt, and still put up more yardage than him. In a 13, 14, 15, almost 15. Week 15, Sam Darnold caught up on yardage.
I know.
That's bad.
Another thing to add on to that.
He wants to make that kind of money right now.
Yeah.
Sam hasn't performed well this year. He's been one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league.
That's the problem.
He averaged
Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins is ranked above him on passing.
Nick Mullins.
That's horrible.
If you have a completion percentage in a clean pocket, Nick Mullins is ranked above Sam Darnold. There's no way they like Nick Mullins that much in San Francisco. So there's no way they're keeping Sam next year. You just got to take it as perspective. Adam Schefter said, I think. He's guessing. He's making predictions. If I say I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, breaking news, the Bills just won the Super Bowl. No.
I'm not going to lie. I've seen this a couple of times, like last year and years past. You can't believe anything you hear in January.
The same thing happened with Le'Veon Bell. He said he wanted to be a Jet for life. A couple months later, he's liking Twitter. He's liking some people's Twitter accounts about like him wanting to be traded.
No, yeah, because of fucking Adam Gase.
You don't listen to that stuff.
I'm not reading into this at all. 1, because it's January, and 2, you got to think about it, right? Was Sam Darnold one of the better quarterbacks in the league this year? Was he top?
Not even close.
No, not even close.
Wasn't even top 32 in my opinion.
Joe Flacco Joe Flacco came in and backed him up through almost 300 yards. You're gonna tell me a backup with Adam Gase put up 300 yards and you can't? That's a problem. He's 37 years old. I don't want to hear no excuses with that.
And the thing is, none of the people that drafted Sam are still there. Todd Bowles, Mike McCagnon is there. So nobody's anchor is tied to Sam. Nobody's job is dependent on how well Sam does. So I think they're just going to move on from him. And there's no way I think right now, in Robert Saleh's eyes, he sees Sam Darnold as more valuable than whoever his quarterback is at 2.
Yeah, and look, Robert Saleh is a first-year head coach. He's going to want to build the team by himself. This is a rebuilding team. He has number 2 pick.
He saw Sam Darnold play one of his better games against him. I still don't think he was wowed.
And he still only threw 1 touchdown in garbage time. That's terrible.
Yeah, and had 179 passing yards that game. I understand he didn't have anything.
Against their practice squad.
I know, literally. Yeah, exactly.
In all fairness, he should have had another touchdown because Herndon dropped one, but that still would not have been a good game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm
just honestly fed up with it. Like, he has no communication skills with his receivers. Yeah, he doesn't have any receivers. Listen, Crowder's been there for almost 2 years. He should have some type of chemistry with Crowder. He does, he gives them the ball because he's the number 1 receiver in his eyes because he's been there longer. He knows him. So obviously he's going to throw him the ball more than Perriman or Mims. But I don't understand how Mims is not getting the touches. I understand it was Gase, but Sam could have, you know what I mean? Look at your options. You have options to throw. You don't have to go through progressions and throw it to the first dude on paper that it's supposed to go to. Well, that red line that it's supposed to go to, even in Madden, you don't have to throw it to that dude. You get what I'm saying? He watches the first read. He looks at everything, looks away, and then comes right back to it. Bro, I play defense. I know exactly how. Bro, you're reading the quarterback at that point. It's simple. You're gonna jump the route. He throws in the double coverage. I'm tired of that demeanor in the quarterback, bro. People make fun of us too much for that, man.
All right.
Yeah, real quick. I don't know if I put this on.
Wait. Take flight before we're gonna waste like 20 minutes on this. We just don't have the time.
Yeah.
What does your quarterback room look like next year? Your depth chart in terms of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was actually just about to try and do a segue to that. That's what I was trying to do. But you want me to go first?
Wire. I was just stopping you.
What is it again?
Oh, damn, that's how you feel? Crazy.
Yeah. What's your depth chart 1, 2, 3 in terms of quarterback next year? You want
in terms of quarterback? If I was the Jets, I would not trade out of the 2nd overall pick. But I don't know if this was me. This isn't the coaching staff. But I have a feeling that the coaching staff is gonna want like a Zach Wilson guy because like I think he like fits their, like I said before, he like fits their system. But if I was the Jets, I would go all in and draft Justin Fields. Because here's the thing. I understand there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are good and didn't play at like top colleges that they play like really, really good defenses, like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I just think Justin Fields is just able to I just see him do better things than Zach Wilson has done, especially against really top defenses. Like you guys watched Justin Fields before, you see that he can run. He has he has a strong arm. He can read defenses really well. He obviously he had a tremendous college career at Ohio State and Georgia. And I just think you got to go with the guy that's able to play good against really good defenses. So that's me.
So who's your backup string? Wire.
Wilson.
No, like backup quarterback and third string.
If I was the Jets, I would probably try to re-sign Joe Flacco, because I think Flacco's a veteran that could mentor the young players on this offense, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out with Sam Darnold, but maybe with a nice new coaching staff, we're gonna be able to help develop young players on the offense this upcoming 2021 season.
Who's your third string?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Personally,
no, that's Wire. Who's your third string quarterback?
Oh.
Can you hear us?
We're just gonna assume you didn't draft James Morgan for nothing, all right?
Here we go.
All right, you're up.
I
Take
personally.
flight.
It doesn't really matter. Rebellion, you got it.
Oh no! Go.
All right. I mean, as a Buckeyes fan, you guys know how I feel about Justin Fields. Even though he's played Clemson, yes, and he played at Alabama. But aside from that, best defense he's played is Indiana. Northwestern is kind of iffy. Both dudes don't play competition. It's just that Fields plays actual D1 competition and Wilson is playing D2 competition. I swear to you this. And these schools that BYU competes against, they're just not good. And I agree with what you said. I think the staff is going to want to go with a guy like Zach Wilson, and I think that's going to end up happening. I think we take Zach Wilson at 2. But, man, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Between Fields' arm talent and just accuracy to Zach Wilson's ability to read a defense and work through progressions, I don't see where you could go wrong. As for the backup quarterback, I think they try and bring in a guy that they're already comfortable with. Nick Mullins is a free agent, so is CJ Beathard. I could see one of those guys coming in. I like Nick Mullins more personally. I think we get Mullins on a cheap veteran backup deal. And third string James Morgan. You didn't draft him for nothing. You probably drafted him just to keep him away from New England, to be fair, but he's still going to have a place on the roster. And just a quick plug in the middle of the podcast, if you guys like the Jets Up podcast, you got to subscribe to all our channels, put on notifications, because we're putting up one of these Jets Up podcasts once, I think Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, correct?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. And so Jets Rebellion, you're up now. What do you think?
All right. Well, along with what Take Flight said, I'll start 3, 2, and it's a 1. I'll keep, James Morgan. He's been there, solidified, whatever. You let him learn whatever how you have him there for, whatever. 2, honestly, I'm getting rid of Flacco. But before I say the backup, I'm going to say who I'm drafting. I'm drafting Justin Fields personally because I feel he's going to have a better scouting combine than Zach Wilson. And me personally, I think Trevor Lawrence. The only thing Trevor Lawrence is going to have over Justin Fields is maybe a vertical jump because he's 6'6", and that's it. Maybe the little throwing passes, the little drills they do, maybe he'll have him there. You never know. But me personally, he's not going to school Justin Fields on any of those skill tests. The broad jump, he's not beating him on that. 40-yard dash, he's not beating him on that. Justin Fields is going to solidify that number 2 spot, and I'll promise you that. Yeah, I think he's a little more faster than Zach Wilson, but I might be biased on that. I feel Zach Wilson's hasn't played competition like that. I feel, he hasn't. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing wrong from him. He's good. He's a great quarterback. He fits certain systems. I just feel, my opinion, I'd rather Fields. Go with Fields. He's more skilled. I think he's seen more competition that's NFL ready, and I think a new regime would fit him best. And then to add on to the backup to him, I would go get maybe like a RG3 or maybe a like you said, Nick Mullins, somebody that knows the system, somebody that can help Justin Fields go along the reads. Maybe somebody like PJ Walker that went from the NFL cut XFL dominated, went to backup for the Panthers. You get him on a 1-year deal. He can teach Justin Fields how to read, operate, see what's going on. And on top of that, I think he came from two different things. So I think he can, school him a little bit. That's
Charlie.
Look, I really want us to take Fields at 2. Wilson's got a big arm. He knows the system well. But I think Fields' upside is much higher, and I think he's a much better leader than Wilson is. I think Fields is, when you see him play, it feels like he sort of has football instincts. His decision-making isn't great, and his ability to read defenses is far from elite. But he seems to know where to go with the ball and when to tuck it and run, which I don't think Wilson has developed because he plays a bunch of non-power conference schools that they blow out, and sometimes they lose to teams like Coastal Carolina and stuff like that.
You had to throw that in there, right?
That's the first time I ever heard of Coastal Carolina in my life, man.
Coastal Carolina.
I'm still going with Flacco at 2. He's an experienced quarterback in this league. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He has a big arm. He can throw the ball deep exceptionally well. And I just think he has a lot of experience in the West Coast offense. That's why I'd probably keep him. And then at 3, I mean, Morgan's the obvious choice. We kind of have to roll with him. Definitely think he's a bust, but you can't not even have him as your 3rd quarterback after you just took him in the 4th round.
You know what I just realized? I said RG3, and RG3 used to play for Shanahan's offense, didn't he, in Washington?
Ooh, yeah, he did.
RG3
that's why I said. That's why
Wait,
I thought
hold on.
about it.
No. Shanahan was with Atlanta, right?
No.
McVay was in Washington.
No, they were both in Washington when RG
were.
Yeah, they were both. They were both there. One was a QB coach, if I'm not mistaken, and I think one was the head coach or
offensive
coordinator.
Offense coordinator. Damn, it's been a while, man.
That's why I'm saying I think maybe RG3 can maybe help Justin Fields in those reads. He knows how to run, tuck. He can help him. Oh, certain situations. If you got to run, you go here. Or you know what I mean. I think it would be a good fit. Never know.
All right, our next topic. Wire's going to start us off again. We'll go with Flight, Rebellion, and me. Who are your free agent targets?
All right. So first here, I am going to start with wide receivers here. So
are we gonna go top 5? Are we gonna pick certain
amounts?
Yeah,
let's go top 5.
Yeah, let's go.
Just pick your 5 favorites.
All right. Some free agent that I'm really paying attention to. Okay. And number 5. I'm probably gonna start with a running back here. I am going with Jamal Williams. Again, I think, like I said, I've said this a while ago. I understand he's the 2nd string running back for the Green Bay Packers this year, but you see him play, you can realize that he can end up being a stud running back one day if he's able to get a starting role for some team. And the good news is he's a nice young running back. And if the Jets, we don't decide to draft a guy like Najee Harris or Travis Etienne out of the draft, then I would really, really be interested in a guy like Marlon Mack. So,
or
yeah.
Jamal. I was trying to say Jamal Williams because you accidentally said Marlon Mack. So.
Oh, Jamal Williams. Excuse me. My bad. I got mixed up.
Yeah, I said Jamal Charles though.
Yeah, Jamal Charles.
Bring him back. He's younger than Frank Gore, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right, bro. Anybody's better than Frank Gore. All right, you got it.
All right, coming in at number 4. Some of you might disagree with me on this, but I am going with Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. I understand. I understand.
Uh,
This is like five, like before number one. These are like the back. These are like type of like my backup plans at wide receiver. Corvette. Um. So Juju, you've seen him before. He's had plenty of success with the Steelers. I know he hasn't really had a good year this past year, and
He's a slot receiver, Wire. We
yeah,
already have those.
yeah, he's a decent slot receiver. He's good at that part. So if we were not able to get one of the top or like one of the better wide receivers in this free agency class, then you might have to look into a guy like Juju. So yeah. And coming in at number 3 is Chicago Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson. So this is a guy that all the Jet fans would really, really like. Obviously, he's a really talented wide receiver, but the question is JD willing to pay a guy like $20 million a year? And it's gonna be a long shot to get a guy like Allen Robinson in here. But I would like to see if the Jets can get him on like a 4-year deal, maybe give him like. But we're just gonna see what happens. The thing is, we just don't want to overpay like a wide receiver or running back, because obviously you guys know Le'Veon Bell only lasted about a year and a half here, and we gave him a whole load of money, and he
What, he
didn't.
played 12 games?
He played about 17. He played 17 games with the New York Jets, and he didn't have a single 100-yard rushing game.
3 touchdowns total.
Four touchdowns total, actually. 3 rushing and 1 receiving. So you have to make sure of how much money you're gonna pay a guy like this. But we're just gonna see. So coming in at number 2 is Detroit Lions wide receiver Kenny Gallaudet. Obviously, you guys might really like him. I really like him. I've watched Gallaudet the past few years. I've seen great things I've seen some great moments from him. So I have a feeling this is a guy that you can get really, really cheap, in my opinion. Like, not really cheap, but like a solid deal. Maybe
15.
yeah, maybe 13 million, maybe something like that. But even though there's going to be other teams interested in him too, I heard the Giants are going to end up being really interested in him. And maybe the Lions are willing to re-sign him to some big deal. But, like, again, we just need to make sure we give a guy like Kenny Gallaudet the right deal. We don't want to overpay a wide receiver like that ever. Especially when you're in a serious rebuild right now. You need to make sure you get all your players the right deals. So that's it for Kenny Gallaudet. Coming in at number 1 is Patriots left guard Joe Thuney.
Fuck the Patriots.
Obviously, this is probably the biggest guard on the market this offseason. He's up there. I don't know if he's the biggest one, but he's on that list. So obviously
Mike went muted for a second. Your mic went muted for a second.
We can't hear you.
Jets Wire goes muted for a second because technical difficulties. This is a Jets podcast. It has to happen at some point.
Alex Lewis. So, and you're also probably going to look at some guards maybe in the draft, like guys like Trey Smith. But if I was the Jets, bro, Joe Thuney would be on my number 1 priority in free agency if I was Joe Douglas. So yeah, that's really it for my free agency. Jets take flight. You're next.
All right. So, and this is all assuming if we included players that are on the Jets right now, like Marcus May, Brian Poole, they would probably be in my list too. I left out a couple guys that I might want to sign, like Hunter Henry, Curtis Samuel. But here's my top 5. At number 5, we're bringing in Richard Sherman. He has experience with Robert Saleh in San Francisco. I think he might have worked with him a little bit in Seattle. If not, he's worked with Chris Richard in Seattle. So there's the connection there. And you might say he's washed. He's only his own corner. Okay, you bring him in on a 1-2-year deal. You need a vet in that secondary. When you look at the secondary, you have Bryce Hall. Brian Poole is relatively young. He's 28. but that's not really what you want. And he's not really a leader in that locker room. You got Marcus May, Ashton Davis. I'm blanking on his name right now. Blashawn Austin, Javelin Gayatri. That's a young secondary. You bring in a guy like Sherman. He can be the starting quarterback for a year, starting corner for a year or two. He could play well and
he helped the secondary out. The secondary's been a disaster for the last few years.
Exactly. And he's relatively cheap. So he's at number 5. Number 4 is a little controversial. We got Steelers edge rusher Bud Dupree. Yes, he's coming off an ACL tear, but what haven't we had for the last 10, maybe even 15 years, really? An edge rusher. It's been since John Abraham or Mike Castagno since we had a real edge rusher in here. Bud Dupree is exactly that. He gets to the quarterback quickly. Oh, yeah, my fault. I don't know how I forgot Ja'Kai Polite. He was an elite edge rusher for us, but we moved on from him. But Dupree is a guy that can come in.
Don't forget his new teammate now.
He can come in and really set the for the team and just be that guy that we haven't had to rush the quarterback and help out the secondary in the last couple of years. Number 3, Corey Davis. I love this guy. He's fast. He catches everything in sight.
This is another guy you can get really cheap.
Yeah, you can get this guy on like a $10 million deal. He's playing his best football right now. Now, I think it would be more of a lock if we got Arthur Smith, the head coach, but I'm very glad we didn't. If you don't know, I hate Arthur Smith. I don't think he's a head coach in the NFL, at least yet.
He landed a Falcons head coaching job today.
But I think Corey Davis, and he did land the Falcons job, but I think Corey Davis is, a pretty solid guy to pair up with Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims is fast, and he catches everything. Corey Davis is around the same thing that he does. Both of their weaknesses, I want to say they aren't the best route runners, but if they work together, if they can work together well, that's going to be a great pairing. And number 2, this is sort of a combination of 2 people. I got Allen Robinson / Kenny Gallaudet. Either one, just amazing signing. Both of them are number 1 wide receivers in the NFL. Both of them, in my opinion, are top 12 receivers in the league. You could argue 15, but top 12 receivers in the league. Gallaudet dealt with some injuries this year. That's why he didn't have the same production. I still expect him to make a full recovery. He hasn't had injury issues in the past. And Allen Robinson has had to work with Mitch Trubisky and Blake Bortles as his quarterbacks. This dude hasn't had a quarterback in his whole career. Give him Justin Fields, Zach Wilson.
1,200 receiving yards.
And he'll still get you 1,000 receiving yards a season. He's just a stud. They're both under 30 years of age, but they still have time in their prime. And they're playing their best football right now. So I got those 2 clocking in. Reason that they're not number 1, they'll probably be relatively expensive. And my number 1 guy, Joe Thuney. You need to sign this man. He can be the guy next to Mekhi Becton. Imagine that. Mekhi Becton and Joe Thuney on an offensive line. Nobody's rushing or nobody's getting to the quarterback on that left side. It's going to be the right side that we're going to have to work on in the draft. And George Fant has been solid if we don't decide to cut him. This offensive line could look pretty good in a year if we have Joe Thuney on the team. So, yeah, we got 5 Sherman, 2 Dupree, 3 Corey Davis, 2 A. Robert Gallaudet, and 1 Joe Thuney. And also weakens a divisional opponent. So, that's all good.
I take this one before you. Are you cool if I take this one before you?
Good.
All right. So, at number 5, I have Ahkello Witherspoon, cornerback from the San Francisco 49ers. He's, I think, 24, 25 years old. He's already proven to be a starting outside corner that can go up with almost any receiver in the league. He knows the system very well, and I really like the guy. I think he's a good corner. At number 4, we have a kicker. He's a familiar face, played for the Jets for a very long time. I have us re-signing Nick Folk. Yeah, he completed 92% of his field goals this year. That is outstanding. He knows the New York area very well, and I just think it would be nice to have him back. At number 3, I have Matthew Judon, edge rusher from the Baltimore Ravens. He had 6 sacks this year, and what a lot of people say about him is that he had Ngakoue on the other end, and people like to discredit his numbers because he had, I think, Calais Campbell on the other end too. People say he had a lot of help. Well, he's going to have Quinn and Williams here anyways, who creates pressure from the interior, who you're going to have to account for. So that really
He's
shouldn't.
better than both of those players.
Yeah. At number 2, I have Kenny Gallaudet, wide receiver from the Detroit Lions. He's excellent in jump balls and in the red zone. He has elite deep speed and is basically what Denzel Mims' ceiling is. So I think it can really help him out into becoming the player we all want Mims to see. And at number 1, I think we're all going to have him here. I really like Joe Thuney. He is probably the best left guard in football. He is available in free agency. We're looking probably about $15-16 million a year. And the thing I really like about this is we're able to, Ryan from Jets Talk talks about this a lot. We're able to weaken a divisional opponent while strengthening ourselves, which is, I mean, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So with that being said, Rebellion, take it away.
Not bad. Well, with me, shit. You said kicker. Well, my 5th one, I start with kicker. I said we signed Zane Gonzalez from Arizona. I feel he would be much better than whoever the hell we have now. So that just goes to show right there. Coming in 4, personally, I think I would love Curtis Samuel. Go get Curtis Samuel on a friendly deal, 2-3 years, maybe 30, 40 mil. They'll be nice. 10 million a year, they'll be all right. Then, personally, Jonnu Smith, tight end from Tennessee.
Big guy, great.
Yep, very, very good athleticism. Just like Darren Waller, you could put him in wide receiver packages, flex him out, and he can still do it. Number 2, me personally, I want Thuney. I want Thuney definitely, but he should be number 1. But I'll put him number 2 because it's either Thuney or Brandon Scherff from the Redskins. Those 2 guards are the only 2 that I want that might do it. But I don't know. Number 1, definitely that we need. Keanu Neal. We need a safety. Okay, that's my opinion. I feel in Saleh's defense, you need somebody to anchor that defense, and I think Keanu Neal would nail it. Somebody that's missing from a Jamal Adams, somebody like that. I think Keanu Neal would lay a hammer down on people, especially running backs coming up that middle. He would play that presence really well, in my opinion.
You like Keanu better than Justin Simmons?
Yeah, I think Justin Simmons is more of a coverage ball type of guy, and I think Keanu Neal is a hitter. I think he hits people more, and he's not afraid to hit somebody.
The thing about Simmons, too, is he's going to get a pretty good amount of money. I don't know if I want to spend that on a safety when we already...
And he's a former... Yeah, they're both...
Gave away the Blitz boy because he won much money. So.
And I also really liked Ashton Davis's upside, so I don't think safety would be...
Yeah, let him learn under Keanu Neal, if anything.
So you'd be for getting him in like a 1-2 year deal?
Yeah, because especially his injury history, I'll give him that. Honestly, I'm not gonna say he's number 1, but I'll put him number 2, vice versa, with Thuney or Brendan Scherff. But my opinion, I would rather get him because we need some type of help. I don't think we resigned Marcus May, cool, but I don't know who's gonna be on the other side of him. It's not gonna be Arthur Marlette. It's not gonna be Ashton Davis. I know Ashton Davis is gonna be in packages, but I don't think he's a starter. My opinion.
All right. Our 7th topic is what our mock drafts look like.
3-round mock draft, New York Jets.
So rounds 1 through 3.
Yep.
And
That's wire. What you got?
Just to let you guys know, we got about
20 minutes
of our Zoom 15 more minutes of our Zoom meeting, so we're gonna have to wrap it up.
All right.
So
We only got one more topic after this, so we should be good.
Yeah.
So,
So,
All right, so I think we should just name them, and just because if we sit there and explain each one, I think we're gonna run out of time.
How about this, guys? You can give analysis, but just do 1 to 2 brief sentences.
Just say like
Okay,
Nice little quick one.
say like what college they're from, and just say something good about them. All right. 2nd overall, I have the Jets selecting Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. His arm accuracy is insane. He has the ability. You see, he can run. He's able to read some defenses. He went against Clemson about a month ago. He stomped on Clemson. He's done really impressive stuff in college. So that's why I'm going Justin Fields, second overall. And then coming in at 23rd overall, I have the New York Jets selecting Alabama running back Najee Harris. This guy, people talk about this guy being the next Derrick Henry. He had 24 rushing touchdowns this past year. He had one good of a game in the national championship. So, and I really think the Jets, even if, who knows, maybe we're going to sign a running back or not. Like I said before, we might go out there and sign like a Jamal Williams. But if we don't, maybe you go into the draft and look for like a Najee Harris, or maybe a Travis Etienne if you want. But
even a Javonte Williams.
Yeah, and then with the second round pick, I have the New York Jets selecting. I don't know if he's going to be available. He might be picked maybe the end of the first round. But if he is there, I really think the Jets should go out and draft Minnesota wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Because I really think the Jets, they need a nice young wide receiver out of college. And obviously we need some help at wide receiver right now. I understand we might end up signing a guy out of free agency like Kenny Gallaudet or Al Robinson. But even if we do, I think it'd be nice to draft another wide receiver early in the second round like we did last year with Denzel Mims, which we don't even know what Denzel Mims is yet. So maybe in case, select a guy like Rashad Bateman. So then with the third round pick, I have the New York Jets selecting Trey Smith, guard. What college does he go to again?
Tennessee.
And I really think another nice young guard can help build up the offensive line. So I really think the Jets should pick a guard like Trey Smith in the third round. Take a flight, take it over.
All right. You're not doing pick 90?
Isn't it rounds 1 through 3?
Yeah. Our Seattle.
1 through 3. Don't we have 2 third rounds?
Yeah, we have 2 thirds.
Oh, we have 2 thirds?
No, you only said 4.
You guys might disagree with me. I think he might be going a little too early. But if I was the Jets, I would try and since we don't know if Rashad Bateman is not picked with that second round pick, I think the Jets, this would be the good time to select Clemson wide receiver Amari Rodgers. I know some of you might disagree with me. I think I might be picking him a little too early.
You also already picked a receiver.
No, I'm just saying this is if we don't draft Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
So Amari Rodgers, he had a great college career with Trevor Lawrence. He helped Trevor Lawrence get a national championship. He was like his number 1 receiver, and I really would like a nice young wide receiver like Amari Rodgers. But if we draft Rashad Bateman, I don't think we're going to go out and draft 2 wide receivers. I don't really think that's a possibility because you're already probably going to end up signing a receiver. So, yeah. Take flight.
All right. So at number 2 overall, this hurts me so much to say. I have the Jets selecting Zach Wilson, quarterback BYU. He reads defenses at a high level. He works through his progressions swiftly. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I hated making this pick, but I honestly think that Mike Lafleur is going to fall in love with this guy's tape. So give me Wilson at 2. At 23, I have the Jets selecting Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. If I'm butchering that name, just correct me.
No, that's not
Rousseau.
Rousseau. Fuck. All right, my fault.
It's the most simplest name, but a lot of letters for no reason.
He's just an incredible pass rusher. You can go Azeez Ojulari here. I have Rousseau, all right, the dude from Miami, falling in the draft a little bit since he didn't play this year. He's got just the raw tools to be able to be one of the top edge rushers in the NFL, and he can work from the interior of the defensive line as well. I have our first trade coming in, Sam Darnold and a 4th round pick to the Steelers for pick 24. I know that might be a little bit of a reach, but hear me out. I honestly think Joe Douglas could talk the Steelers into doing this. If we could get a 3rd round pick for Leonard Williams with how bad he was, I think we can package Sam in a fourth to get a late first-round pick, especially with the Steelers in win-now mode. With that pick, I use it to select Wyatt Davis, the interior offensive lineman out of Ohio State. I would love if Justin Fields was his quarterback, but he is not. Davis has been consistent in his entire college career, and he's a phenomenal run blocker, and he's a pretty decent pass blocker too. At 34, I have Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver out of, I believe, Florida. He is what is going to end up being the Jamison Crowder replacement. He's the perfect guy for a system like Kyle Shanahan's, which obviously we're bringing over to our offense. He's fast as hell and a crazy good route runner. He's going to be that sort of Tyreek Hill of the offense, per se. Obviously not as good, but he's going to play that sort of role. And he's just an explosive dude to have on the field.
So he's Crowder at the same time?
Yeah, I think we trade Crowder before the deadline.
Yep.
So
Think so?
at pick, yeah, because he's on an expiring contract and we save $11.5 million.
True.
So at pick 66, I have us selecting Tyson Campbell, the cornerback out of Georgia. Even if we get a guy like Sherman in free agency, you could take Campbell as a guy that can sit and develop behind Sherman because that's really what he needs. He has all the physical tools to be an outstanding corner in the NFL. I love his tape. I just think he needs some refinings on some mechanical things and how to play in zone, which is exactly what Richard Sherman can do for him. Perfect guy for a Robert Saleh defense as well, being how athletic he is. And then at pick 90, I have the Jets selecting Kenneth Gainwell, the running back out of Memphis. This dude's the next Alvin Kamara. I'm calling it right now. He used to play receiver, so he's amazing at catching the ball. His only real concern is fumbles. He can get that patched up. He's going to be a top 10 running back in no time. He's speedy. He's fast. He's got hands. And he jukes the shit out of defenses all the time. So Wilson, Rasu, Davis, Toney, Campbell, and Gainwell.
All right, boys. We got about 7 more minutes, so let's hurry this up.
I'm gonna make this quick. You just gotta hear me out. All right, that's it. All right. So number one, obviously Justin Fields. You know I'm a Justin Fields fan, so I'm going for Justin Fields on that, just due to the fact that I think his skill trait's gonna just lock in during this competition, and I think he's just gonna surpass everybody at that point. Lock in. Number two, at 23, I have a shocker. I got Kadarius Toney at 2. I'm sorry, at 23, to give us a little spark in our offense. I think he looked like another Tyreek Hill, another little dynamic little runner and everything like that. 3, I got either Wyatt Davis or Trey Smith. That would translate awesome. With our other pick, the other 3, I would either go. What's his face? Oh my God, Campbell, the corner out of Georgia. He's something else. Him and Eric Stokes are very, very good on each side. So I would love Eric Stokes right there at that pick. And
last third.
That's the third one, right? No, I
got
had
the last third round pick now.
Oh, so there's one more, right?
Yeah.
Because remember, he had 2 first rounders. And then
2 first rounders, the second
1 rounder and 2 third rounders.
And then I said Campbell. And Shiza. Damn. Personally, I like that dude. I don't know if you guys heard of him. The tight end E-Box. I heard of him in Michigan.
Nick Eubanks.
Yes, him. Eubanks is a problem. I think you bring him in on some type of, you bring him in, you're gonna have a little competition with Herndon. I think he maybe plays out Herndon. He's a similar trait to Herndon. I think he's a little bigger than Herndon. I think he's faster than Herndon. And he works on his hands. He's a very hands-on receiver, to be honest. But that's my final pick.
All right. So at 2, I have Justin Fields. A lot of raw talent. I trust Mike Lafleur to develop him. 23, Wyatt Davis. He's pretty close with other guards, but I think he's more experienced facing higher level competition. At 34, I have either Travis Etienne or Najee Harris. I'm splitting hairs with this one. Etienne is a little more talented as a pass catcher. Najee Harris is a bigger guy. He runs it up the middle better. Number 66, Patrick Jones II, edge rusher from Pittsburgh. Very strong guy. Works well with his hands. I really like his game. 86, Falele. I think Daniel Falele. I don't know what school he goes to.
He goes
Huge.
to Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Huge. 6'9", I think 400 pounds. Moves his feet very well. And then at 87, I have a trade happening here. I think we should trade the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 87th pick, which I will use to select Seth Williams, wide receiver from Auburn. Big guy, great hands, works extremely well on the jump ball.
Yep.
And
so for our final thing, you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got our divisional round picks. Who do you guys think is going to win on Saturday and Sunday?
Just go through them. I got the Packers beating the Rams 28-17. Ravens over Bills 24-20. The Chiefs will beat the Browns 35-24. And I have the Saints stomping the Buccaneers face in. Final score 38-14.
I'm with you. So I'm literally same thing. Those are the same people I want.
I'm not gonna put out scores, but these are my opinions. So I got the Chiefs obviously stopping on the Cleveland Browns. I don't really think the Browns even stand a chance against them because playoff Mahomes is a different breed. And then I got the Packers over the Rams. I really can't see the Rams competing in that game. And just like it's in Green Bay, it's gonna be nasty down there. So like I really can't see the Rams.
Goff has small hands and a weak arm. Doesn't work well in cold weather.
Yep. And I got the Bucks over the Saints. I think Tom Brady is going to go into where is it in New Orleans or Tampa Bay?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. I think Tampa Bay is going to go into New Orleans and pull a little upset against the Saints here. So and then in the Saturday night game I got the Bills beating the Ravens, but Ravens have been obviously they're probably the most hottest team in the NFL right now, but I just really can't see them just stopping the Bills from this magical run that they have.
All right.
So I'll run through mine. I got Bills beating the Ravens 27-24. I think it's two great teams. Whoever wins this game, hot take, is going to come out of the AFC. Chiefs over Browns 42-28. I think last week was really the Browns' peak. They're not going to hit that again. And playoff Mahomes is just a different breed, as you said. Packers over Rams. We're going to see this Rams team that lost to the Jets a couple weeks ago, being that they're one of the more inconsistent teams in the league. I got them winning 38-17, the Packers on top. And the Buccaneers upset the Saints in New Orleans 21-17. That offense really concerned me last week in New Orleans. They couldn't score shit on the Bears. All right. I get they have a good defense. They don't really have a secondary. That was really scary. Breeze looks old. Brady's not losing to a guy 3 times in a row. He's not losing to a team 3 times in a row. We've seen this in the AFC East. We know this. You can't doubt him. Those are my picks.
Oh yeah, so
that wraps it up.
That's just really it for today's episode.
Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Jets Up podcast.
Yep.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. Follow our Instagrams.
Link that.
Yep. Check out our new podcast on Monday.
Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays will be the days of our podcasts. So, Jet fans, we will see you on Monday.
And we're going to get a Jets fan to send it out.
Some football. Just be happy that we got a new head coach in here.
Jets.
All right.
That's how
see you guys.
crazy.
See y'all.